Welcome to Crossroad Connection. We're speaking out for those left unheard. My name is David Schuringa, the host of your program, and I'm the president of Crossroad Bible Institute. Well, it's Christmas time again, and if you think about it, what could be the loneliest place in the world on Christmas? And it's probably something like prison. We have letters from prison today, and I have Alexa Winnick in the studio with me. Welcome, Alexa.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you have collected letters and comments about what life is like in prison.
Yeah, from the perspective of our students.
Right.
Them, yeah.
When you think about Christmas yourself, what's your favorite thing about Christmas?
Oh, boy. I just love seeing my family. I've been away from them for, about 6 years now, and we have so much fun together. We're very laid back and chill. We make lots of cookies, and my Aunt Jane used to make us these huge Martha Stewart type dinners and just turkey and stuffing and all that stereotypical good stuff that still has, really is beautiful and wonderful. So, yeah.
So it's getting together with family.
Yeah, that's really
like
my
that.
favorite part.
Yeah,
so.
It is mine too. I just love just sitting in a chair in the living room watching the grandkids tear open their presents.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's just
She's a grandfather. That must be a real joyous time of year.
It's just a joyful time.
Yeah.
But that's precisely, of course, what our students cannot enjoy.
Many of them, yeah.
To get together with family at Christmas, and I've heard that Christmas is like the loneliest day of the year.
Sure, and even, for some of them that might get to see their family, they maybe get them to visit. There's so many stipulations on, greeting time, visiting time, and depending on what prison you're in, sometimes, all you have is a hug, and that's it. And maybe
or
if
just
you're
a tap,
lucky,
a tap on
it.
the glass, maybe.
Yeah. So it can be hard for many of them, as, they write to us about that often.
Let me be an antagonist here. In terms of, okay, it's lonely in prison, but they should have thought of that before they committed their crime.
Oh, wow.
How would you respond to that?
Well, every situation is different. I just always say that as the caveat because I'd hate to, speak for every single prisoner or person in prison. But, we do see different themes coming up in these letters. And, if you listen to them today, you'll hear many of them are remorseful for what they've done. And just even beyond that, they're humans, and that's why we have this show. And,
right.
Whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever you've done in your life, there are certain things we need as humans to feel connected, and family, friends, relationships, those are important for all of us, no matter who you are.
Well, what just occurs to me as well for people who may be thinking along those lines, do you feel that you deserve the joy of that family at Christmas?
Well, no. No, it's grace. It's a blessing. We can't control what family we're born into. We can't control, where we've grown up, and any good thing, is a gift. And,
right.
And
that's what's important for us to realize.
Yeah.
We shouldn't say they deserve a lonely Christmas because of the crime any more than we deserve a good Christmas because we're such good people.
Right.
The fact is, I like how you put it. These are people made in the image of God, people we trust for whom Christ died. And so we hope to, this Christmas, we want to give them the best experience that they can have.
Sure.
We have this, tell the viewers about our Send a Card program.
Yeah, the Send a Card program is a way for really the church, whether it's, yourself, your family, CBI instructors, small group, to send personalized cards to CBI. And we'll send those cards to students.
We'll include them with a lesson.
Yes. So that way, during often lonely times during the holiday season, our students can receive personalized cards with their names on it, with sometimes a greeting, just a message of encouragement. And as you'll see in some of these letters, that can go a long way for them.
And it's perfectly safe and secure. You don't give personal information.
Right. Yeah. You can sign, your name however you want to. We say, only first name. if you were signing your real name. So it is
Right.
safe and secure. Yeah.
And we have all kinds of ways in which we can be sure that those cards meet the regulations and stuff of the thing. But it's been a delight again this year. And our viewers should know, don't send in cards now. It's too late.
Right. Yeah. Our deadline was November 15th.
That's right.
But looking forward to next year, this is a great thing to work on advance with your church even. It's a
Right.
great ministry and a really easy way to get all ages involved. We have lots of kids that will write cards to people who are in prison, and those are just a delight because I often have colorings or drawings that go along with that.
Yeah, it's a great project for kids in school, kids in Sunday school, small group Bible studies, entire churches, and we literally, again this year, received tens of thousands of these cards. And what is really touching, and I don't know if maybe one or two of the letters will reflect that, but every year we hear from a person in prison who'll say this is the only Christmas card they received.
Yeah, sometimes in years.
And so it really touches them, and they save them. We get Christmas cards, we open them up, and it's not like we treasure those things forever. We probably don't look at them more than 3 seconds. Or I'm just talking about myself.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think you make a point. We can take it for granted easily if we are, bombarded with cards every year and presents, and it sometimes seems like the smallest part of Christmas, but to someone who, does not have those blessings of a big family around them, that can go a long way. So.
Well, let's go on to some of the letters, and let's get an idea about how our students are experiencing Christmas in prison.
All right, let's start with, this is Isidro in Washington.
What's the name again?
Isidro.
Okay.
He says, "Thank you for mailing me a Christmas card. I thank you with all of my heart. I've been here for 7 months, and during these 7 months, I haven't received a single card from my family. They're really upset with me for everything I've done, and they're very hurt by my rebellion. Because of this, your card was a surprise for me. Thank you for the care and love you show to people you don't even know. What I know is that we're a united family in Christ. Thanks, CBI, and Happy New Year."
Man, oh man, that is quite touching. The family's angry with them, and we can understand that.
Sure, and I think in his letter you see the sense of remorse of
Right.
the misunderstanding going on, and he just touches on it, but you can imagine there's probably a lot of deep pain in that family right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the whole idea of Christmas, it's not payback. And a family may be tempted for payback. You're not going to hear from us, we're going to punish you. But it's actually grace that softens the heart and changes the heart.
Sure. And I can imagine, crime breaks families, it breaks communities, and I can't even imagine what that must do, and there must be a time process for victims and for family members to go through, and stages of grief, even, as they say. But you would hope that there will be reconciliation eventually, where they get to the point of being restored. So I hope that for his family.
And in the meantime, while they're processing it, we hope to demonstrate and extend unconditional grace,
stand in the gap
unconditional
during
love.
that time. Yeah.
And it seemed like he had a little taste of that by getting that card.
Yeah.
Do you have time? You have another one?
Yeah, maybe before break we can read Sean from Arizona. This actually touches on a story I brought up in the Thanksgiving episode of Letters from Prison. So this is his own words of that story I shared earlier.
You had a story about Sean this past Thanksgiving.
Yeah, when we did the Letters from Prison.
And now this is a follow-up?
This is from his own words, the story. So
okay,
for viewers who saw the last episode, you can get straight from the horse's mouth right here.
All right.
So this is Sean. I want to share with you a testimony about what the Christmas card you sent did for me. I have 11-year-old twin daughters that have not talked to me since I've come to prison. My ex-wife said they are embarrassed that I'm in prison. I pray every night for God to restore my relationship with them. Well, one of my daughters goes by the name Mo. The Christmas card CBI sent me said on the front of it, "May you know his love in special ways this Christmas." When I opened it, there was a kid's colored drawing, and it was purple, which is my daughter's favorite color. And at the top of the page were the letters Mo. And seeing that overwhelmed me with emotion. God's love is great and very special. Thank you, CBI, for being that vessel God used to send his love to his children.
Boy, that can bring a tear to your eyes. What's with the mole?
Mo, yeah, it seems
Mo.
providential almost that the child writing him,
Yeah.
who wasn't his daughter, shared
Yeah.
the same name, and seeing that was very moving to
The
him.
same
Yeah.
name. Oh,
So
I got it.
coincidence or providence, however you
Yeah,
want to say
right.
it. But
11-year-old twin daughters.
yeah, so obviously a family struggling right now with everything, but yeah, just a little bright spot for Sean to receive that card.
Well, these 2 letters are really starting to prove our point, but we've got a lot more
Yeah.
on. So stay tuned, because there's a lot more letters from Christmas in Prison. We'll be right back.
Are you in prison? Do you know someone who is? Through CBI Bible studies and encouragement from CBI instructors, more than 40,000 people behind bars are learning the truth about salvation through Christ and are developing deeper relationships with God. For an enrollment form, please visit us online at cbi.fm.
Welcome back to Crossroad Connection. This is a special edition of Letters from Prison. I'm in the studio here today with Alexa Winnick, who has collected some marvelous letters and clips about our students who are in prison and what that is like. What do you have next on the docket for us?
Yeah. Let's go with, this is Alidia from Texas. This is a little short one, short and sweet. She says, I want to thank you for that blessing during Christmas. Those Christmas cards and your word in the letter were so comforting during that time. I was going through a misunderstanding with somebody and feeling really sad. So the package came from CBI right on time, just like everything God is doing in my life.
So that's quite interesting, isn't it, if you think about it, where she was having a misunderstanding with someone, and the CBI packet came with the Christmas cards. I'm getting the sense that there was a little bit of a breakthrough there, maybe a softening, maybe a reconciliation.
Yeah, or hopefully some comfort even, during that time. We see here her opening up about some kind of misunderstanding and just, I guess, a providential moment to receive that package. So.
Yeah, very nice. Let's continue on.
Yeah.
You mentioned before the show that you had a letter from one of our children of prisoners who we have a children's program, a Bible study program for the children of people in prison called Manga Messiah. And Manga Messiah is a sort of a special hot cartoon style. I guess it originated in Japan or something like that, right? And so we have one on the life of Christ, and it is for the children of prisoners, of people in prison.
Yeah, it walks them through the Gospels, and they can also have a CBI instructor who will correct their lessons and send them personal letters to the children.
Do we send the children of prisoners the card too?
That's a great question. I would have to check on that.
Let's have the letter.
Yeah, this is from Megan in North Carolina.
And she is a CBI
Manga Messiah student.
A Manga Messiah student. Okay.
She says, Merry Christmas to all you guys at CBI. You have truly changed my life. I now have to make myself stop reading Manga Messiah. I thank you all. Have a great Christmas, and may you worship the Lord for all eternity. Pretty eloquent for, I don't know how old Megan is, but the Manga Messiah is 7 to 14 years of age.
Yeah, we've had people as much as 17 or 18 sign up for it, but it's a very, very popular program, and it's nice to hear from one of them to actually write it for us. So,
Megan was sending us a Christmas card, which was very nice of her.
She sent us a Christmas card. Well, that touches my heart. Okay, let's go on.
Okay, I wanted to read Anthony's. This is Anthony from Michigan, and
who was a student.
He was a student,
incarcerated.
Yeah. And he touches on something we kind of talked about in the first segment about often the regret and the remorse that you see in some of these letters during this time as they're thinking about, what they've done to land them behind bars. So this is Anthony. He says, I would just like to thank you for all your words of encouragement. I don't have many people in my life that understand the changes I've experienced in the last year or so. Even though I try to explain, I think my family has a hard time taking me seriously on account of the person I used to be. So thank you very much. It's been pleasant to hear your words of encouragement, but I ask you to please pray for my victim's family that they find comfort this Christmas. I pray that they find forgiveness in their hearts and that God gives a realization that I did not intend for their son to pass away and that I never thought the things I did would kill anybody. Thank you for the Christmas card, and I wish everyone at CBI a Merry Christmas too.
Oh, boy.
It's a bit heavier of a letter.
That is a heavy letter.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that something? He's reflecting on the pain that he caused his victims.
Yeah. When I read that, please pray for my victim's family, I had never really seen that so clearly stated before, and that really jumped out at me. So to think about, how many other students that we have who are thinking similar things this Christmas as well. And obviously restorative justice is something that's close to our hearts at CBI, and reconciling victims and the perpetrators of crime is very important, and can't always happen in the way that is completely clear and whole, but that is the goal ultimately.
Well, you explained that very, very well. Our viewers may not be aware, or some of them, that in our current criminal justice system, once a person is arrested, really there becomes a great divide between the victims and the perpetrators. They're not allowed to really have contact, and in fact, the victims sort of get kicked to the curb.
Right, and sometimes the focus is so much on the offender that the victims kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Right, I think the victims frequently are nothing more than witnesses for the prosecution, but there doesn't seem to be much concern about what the victims experienced. And sometimes, obviously, when there's at the sentencing, they'll have the victims there, but that is just sort of an emotional outrage sort of thing, not really a coming together of the victim and the offender.
Sure.
And isn't Christmas about reconciliation?
Well, from a Christian perspective, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this particular student, what was his name again?
This is Anthony.
Anthony, he's longing for that reconciliation. Yeah. And it's interesting, but it seems like, and maybe this is the effect of the church and of prison ministry, but it seems like you're reading more and more in the papers about victims forgiving the one who committed the crime against them or their family member.
Right.
Just a few weeks ago, for example, I think you did a story on this couple who forgave the young man who shot their son. Not only forgave him, but pled for mercy in his sentencing, and then got him out early. Took him into their home and gave him a job in the husband's construction company.
Yeah, and that made national headlines because people were amazed.
Yeah, but we're seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
Where I think there was a time, and that it's just about payback, not forgiveness. But I think that something's moving in the country, perhaps, where you're seeing more and more of forgiveness of horrendous crimes. And, only with Christmas can that happen. Because only with the coming of Christ is the price paid. And only with the coming of Christ is forgiveness possible.
Yeah.
And you just see the pain that he's feeling for his sin.
Yeah.
That doesn't, that didn't come from the devil.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think, when we talk about forgiveness, some people, like playing devil's advocate, might be afraid that, that would somehow mitigate the pain or the horrendous act that was done to a family. But restorative justice isn't about forgetting, what happened or saying, oh, it wasn't that bad, get over it.
Right.
It's about restoring what was broken, what was deeply broken.
It's taking it more seriously.
Right.
And also it's defining justice, I think, in a biblical sense. When we talk about in our culture, we're going to get justice, that what they really mean is get even. Get payback, get vengeance. But that's not biblical justice. Biblical justice is restoring shalom. So it's about reconciliation and restoration and shalom and in society.
Tikkun olam, as our Jewish brothers and sisters would say.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, right.
This restoration of the world, working towards that.
Well, we have we're going to stop for a quick break
Yeah.
before our last segment, but we have some of the best letters yet to come. We're learning a lot about how important Christmas is for not only people in prison, but to make our world a better place. And we're learning a lot about what our students experience behind bars at Christmas time. So don't go away. Don't change that channel. We'll be right back.
At Crossroad Bible Institute, we are committed to helping people in prison develop relationships with Jesus Christ. By correcting Bible study lessons and writing letters of encouragement, CBI instructors participate in this ministry in a safe and secure way. For more information or to sign up to become a CBI instructor, please visit us at cbi.fm on the web.
Welcome back to Crossroad Connection. This is a special edition of Letters from Prison, and we're learning about what prison life is like at Christmas time. And so our students have written us many letters, and Alexa has selected some of those. We have time for a couple more, and I know you have some dandies here for us. So let's let's get to the next one. I can't wait.
Well, this one's very short, but this is from one of our international students. So.
Oh, great! Where's he from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Yep,
And
we have a thriving campus out there in New Zealand. Another one in Australia.
Directed by Peggy Lancroon.
Peggy, good old Peggy. Yep.
Yeah. So he didn't sign his name on this one, but this is an international student from New Zealand. He says, "Dear CBI, firstly, thank you for remembering me over the Christmas holidays and sending me a beautiful Christmas card. I was humbled to know that you were thinking of me at the time."
Okay, now I guess I'm the president. I should know this, but so New Zealand has a Sunday card program too?
That would probably be a question for our international coordinator would know.
Well, it didn't come from us.
Well, right. So they must be doing that as well.
Yeah, I guess
in
some
New
of
Zealand,
our satellite campuses must be doing the same thing. Have a Sunday card program.
Right. Well, I think we, all
all
of us
kinda
involved
we all
in
do the
prison
same
ministry
thing.
know, what's important and what is needed during the Christmas holidays, and it seems like New Zealand is facilitating some kind of card program as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, the New Zealand ministry is going gangbusters. I think we have students in every prison in New Zealand, and it is a widely accepted and respected program there. And it's nice that we're bringing some comfort there at Christmas time too.
Yeah, to see what they're doing. It's great. Okay, this letter was from Howard in Connecticut, and he touches on a little bit of just what the Christmas time period is like for him and what it brings to mind. So this is Howard. "I want to take this time to thank you all for the spiritual advice and all the help you have given me. I had to step away from the Lord for what I now realize were selfish reasons. My sons were lost in a fire on Christmas Day in 1980, and I could not think for the life of me why God would let something like this happen. Instead of bringing God closer to me, I pushed him away. It took prison and the help of the CBI instructors to help me find my way back to the Lord. I haven't felt so good about myself in years. I'm only sorry I lost sight of the Lord and all the wonderful power he has over all of us. It has taken me years of pain and anguish to realize he has always been there for me. I regret the lost time away from the Lord's grace, but my journey back has been a wonderful one. Each step I take brings me that much closer to the Lord, and I would like to thank all of you very much for helping me to get started on this journey."
Did I get that right? He lost his sons in a fire?
On Christmas Day, yes.
On Christmas Day.
So the reason I picked this card was he wasn't necessarily addressing the Send a Card program at all, but just in general what memories must come to his mind, the pain that must conjure to go through this time period on the anniversary. So it looks like he is working through that, and he is very thankful for CBI instructors for walking alongside of him in that pain and in that journey.
Well, I'm sure this is something that our viewers can, in some ways, identify with, and that being when you go through a horrible time of suffering of some sort, of loss, you don't come out neutral and unaffected. It either drives you closer to God or it drives you away from God. And it looks like his initial experience was that it drove him
Away.
away from God,
Yeah.
because maybe that relationship was not there.
Sure.
And so he ended up committing a crime that got him incarcerated.
Yeah, I don't know what his whole backstory is, but it certainly, seems like he's, been on this journey that he talks about, for lack
Right.
of a better word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can't even begin to imagine
No.
the pain
Yeah.
that he is experiencing with that loss.
Mm-hmm.
Reminded at every Christmas, but we do hope that in some small way, that Christmas card reminds him that God gave up his son for his spiritual, eternal life and his
Yeah.
boys,
And what I love about Howard's letter, just that it brings to mind that every person in prison, just like every person you meet on the street or in the supermarket or while you're Christmas shopping, has a story, has been through pain. That's part of being human, on this side of heaven, and that's good to remember when you're working in prison ministry. Everyone
Mhm.
has a story.
I think
So-
we have time for one more letter.
Okay. Let's go with Danny from Michigan. He says, I just want to take this moment to share with all of you what God has done for me through CBI. I'm not an artist or a scholar, but what I have now to me is much more valuable. Through the lessons in my instructor, God has slowly and sometimes very painfully removed the calluses on my heart. I know God is working through you. You might wonder how I know. Well, let's just take that the last lesson in Sermon of the Mount, number 3, our acts of worship. My heart once again was convicted of how far I fell short as a Christian and how short I come to bring God glory. But Christmas time is here, and God has shown me that there are people that care and give the most precious gift of their time. It is one thing we can never seem to get enough of, but all of you give it freely. God bless each and every one of you and your families this Christmas.
Well, that's very nice. He sees the entire Crossroad program, so it's a great one to conclude with. He sees the whole program as a Christmas present, doesn't he?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
giving of their time and giving of their heart all year round.
Yeah, I mean, that even reminds me, I was reading another letter this morning that one student said receiving his letters from his instructors makes him feel like a kid on Christmas. So I think this letter kind of is on the same vein of that
Right,
as well.
because with every corrected lesson, they get a full-page letter of encouragement from their instructor.
Yes.
Okay, so we got to conclude our program. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
And just to remind our folks, our viewers, they can get in on the love next year.
For the Send a Card program,
On the
yes.
Send a Card
Mhm.
program, they can mark their calendars like for what, first week of September, end of August.
Yeah, once fall time starts coming, start planning. Yeah.
Get your Bible study group going, get your Sunday school class going, get your family going, get your church going, and start sending in those cards. And they can go to our website and they can find the instructions on exactly, because there's rules the prisons have. You
Yes.
can't have glitter on them and
Right,
stamps
staples and those things.
like
so
that.
yeah, all the information's on the website.
But it's a great group project, and we know there's been churches that have been doing it for years, and the kids and the schools, they all look forward to it. So people can get on that in the action, put it on their calendars for next year and join in, but they can go to our website right now, cbi.tv, and become an instructor.
yeah,
Actually correct the lessons of prisoners and their children.
all
And
through the year.
that's right. And anybody can do it who loves the Lord and cares for hurting people. We'll train them. We have a DVD that will give them all that they need. We have answer keys. And so they can get in on the love to actually make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah, be a great New Year's resolution.
Hey, it would
So-
be. You can be a Christmas present to prisoners all year long. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, Alexa.
Yeah,
It's
no problem.
wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the work that you've done and collecting all of this. And we hope that we'll see you again right here next week.